Hey, welcome back to Square Body Stuff. I'm Chad, and really don't know what this video is going to be about other than this guy. Yeah, finally getting a big buck on this channel. My last video went over what we're doing with this thing. We're putting it in my 78 C10 squeaky. As a Plan B engine for No Name Nationals. The 339 stroker build we're going to be building for this truck is on hold. Well, not really on hold. It's just hung up at the machine shop right now. They're behind, and it's no big deal. That's just the way things are going. They're short-handed. They're doing their best to get my engine in with the rest of them they got. Every time I go down there, my block and everything is in with like 10 or 15 other blocks, just going through their process. So no big deal. We're still gonna have fun with this 454. Nothing real special. A little bit of a cam, mainly just, I guess, if you want to put a label on it, an RV cam. 500, a little over 500 thousandths lift, and 218, 228 duration at 50. Nothing super huge, but we are going to be running the nitrous on this. I got some 781 heads on this thing that I didn't do a big port job on them, just kind of a down and dirty pocket porting job. Clean the valves, clean everything up, new seals, new springs. But the bottom end's pretty much stock, good shape. I probably should have gapped the rings, but now we're just gonna send it the way it is. We're gonna probably at least 150, maybe we might just go ahead and put the 250 shot to it and just call it a day and have some fun with this thing. So, but what I've got going on right now is from my last video, this thing wasn't put together yet. It was just a short block. I had one head on it, I think. I got it put together, painted. Intake is just sitting on there for looks right now. I've got to yeah, I got to bolt the intake on, get all that set up. I got a few things to set up on this thing, and if you look around, look at this shop. It is a freaking disaster right now. So, I mean, I ain't gonna go do a thorough cleanup, but I'm gonna get my table cleaned back off, get this mess out of the floor. I'm gonna do some tidying up, and then get this thing ready to get hooked up to the run stand, get it started up, break the cam in, and then yeah, go from there. I'm just starting this video out. I really don't have an end to this. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll see a running 454 that's going to go in that truck, and no lifter failures or no big failures. I kind of debated on even changing the cam in this thing because, you know, it was a good running engine. It was in my my rock crawler, and before I'll show you a little clip here. Before we took it out, I let old Stumpy just have some fun with the rock crawler. Yeah, he was getting with it. I'm afraid he almost rolled the thing over, but here's a little clip of him having some fun with the thing. Alright, so now the rock crawler is just kind of dismantled right now. If you go to my last video, I took a little bit of video where it's at, current state. Front ends of it looks kind of like this. but a little bit different. Anyways, but this engine will be eventually going back into the rock crawler, and it'll be better than what it was before. So, because it was all stock when it was in the rock crawler. Had a factory, well, this intake right here, which I put it on there to do the painting, so it looks kind of crappy now, but and a 600 Holly is all that truck had on it. I'll probably be going back to the Holly. Eventually, I do have a fuel injection system to go on that truck, or that rock crawler, but that's on down the road. I'm not gonna try to worry about that right now. We're just worried about getting this truck ready for No Name Nationals. I'm getting closer. Yeah, let's get busy on this thing. I'm just gonna kind of skip through some stuff. No real plans on this. Just hang out and see what happens. All right, now I've got the shop kind of cleaned up. At least better than what it was. I still need to get that thing out of here, drug outside, but at least it's out of my way in the shop. Got the table cleaned off. Still got some tools and stuff on there I need. I've got the intake mounted on the engine, carburetor mounted. Yeah, a few other little things. But I want to go ahead, before I bolt the valve covers down, I want to check my oil pressure, make sure I've got oil flowing everywhere. I've got oil in here. I've got some break-in oil. And I've got my test stand, at least just the oil pressure sending unit, hooked up to it right now. And I'm going to run it with my drill, just run the oil pump with my drill, and see what kind of oil pressure we have, and make sure I've got oil flowing to every one of my rocker arms. All right, let's see what kind of oil pressures we got. There we go. I think it's slipping. Well, battery just died. I'll be back. All my batteries were dead because I'm apparently very bad at planning stuff. So I've got my electric drill hooked up to it. It's not the best, but I think it'll work enough to power an oil pump. So let's see what happens. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds. About 68 pounds, 67, 68. I don't know if this drill's gonna hold up or not. But I've got oil flowing. I got oil flowing everywhere on this side. My truck's slipping. I don't have oil everywhere on this side, but I do have it on the front cylinder. So we do have oil pressure. I'm satisfied with that. And that's what you get for buying a $10 drill at a yard sale. Supposed to be a 1/2-inch hammer drill. It did do good enough. I've got a cover over now, but my holes are my anchors for my pipe bender. I was able to drill that. So apparently it earned its keep, but I think I'm gonna have to buy a better drill. I've got an air drill, but it really don't spin very fast. But I'm pretty satisfied with the oil, because I know all my push rods, I make sure they all are open and flow good before I put them in. So I don't think I got any blockage anywhere. I'll just yeah, I'm gonna send it. Why not? I'm gonna bolt the valve covers down, clean up I got a little bit of an oil mess. I'm gonna bolt my valve covers down and finish buttoning everything else up. I've got fuel lines still yet to figure out. Starter, headers, spark plugs, distributor. Yeah, I got a few other things, but we got oil pressure. Everything's good to go. So yeah, just stay tuned. We'll be right back with maybe getting ready to start the motor up. I don't know. This is one of the little things that eats up a lot of time, is taking these little bolts. I mean, I could just put them in there, but they're dirty. They're got orange paint on them from the way it was because the engine was orange. So I want to make them nice and clean. So yeah, this little thing, this little stuff takes the extra time. You gotta clean them over the wire with. I got it one bolt at a time. It didn't cost me a dime. Okay, so let me shut this heater off. There we go. A little quieter now. Yeah, it's all hooked up, ready to go. I've got the heater on it to get some heat in the oil. As 2 days ago, this shop was right at about 90 degrees. Well, maybe not quite 90 this time of day, but it was around 100 degrees most of the day. Yesterday, it didn't get to be about 65 in the shop during the hottest part of the day. So that was a big difference. And this morning, it's, you know, another nice, cool, crisp fall day. I'm loving it. I got my hoodie on. Yeah. But with that said, I didn't want to fire this engine up, run it up to 2,000 RPM right off the bat with 50 degree oil or 60 degree oil in it. So I want to get some heat in the oil before I started it up. Because as soon as this thing fires, I'm going to need to get it idled up to about 2,000 RPM. So I got to break the cam in and the lifters. But I think I got everything done. I worked on it last night till about midnight. I didn't get a whole lot of video, obviously, of the little piddly stuff because it's just little piddly stuff. It's having the fuel system is what took me the longest. I'll show you what I got going on there. Of course, this is the deal that was on there. I was trying to replace that, but I got my regulator, which I'm not sure that I'll need a regulator, or I'm just hoping it even works. But went ahead and put a regulator on it just in case, because I didn't want to overpressure the carburetor, but with this bigger pump. I think it's supposed to be like 8 pounds regulated, so it shouldn't be too bad. But anyways, one half of the regulator, it's all AN up to this point. And yeah, I had to put all that together. But the issue I was having, that didn't take very long, because I had a whole box of fittings that I ordered a long time ago to set up that fuel system on the 305 that's in squeaky. And I got these fancy doodads to go into the carburetor, and I was going to make, you know, AN line fuel rail, whatever you want to call it, for the carburetor. Well, going through all my stuff, all excited about doing that, and I forgot to order the T. One little T had me hung up for a while to figure out what I was going to do, because it would have went right here. That deal I just showed you goes to the carburetor, the float bowls, comes down, and it'll go over and it'll T right here. Yeah, so I forgot to order the T. I probably looked for it for an hour, and then I finally looked at my went to my orders, my previous orders on Summit, and realized I just never even ordered it for some reason. That's the way it goes. No big deal. The main reason I was wanting to replace that, other than, you know, having all the cool looking AN fittings, is this fuel rail that's on here was bad about leaking, because these washers were pretty well junk. So I'd have to keep an eye on these, and they would leak. But I used the washers from those new fittings to get me by, so at least I can run it. But yeah, we got it ready. Got my 3-inch exhaust. I just got the HEI distributor in there for right now. I didn't feel like wiring up the coil and all that stuff for the Mallory ignition in the ignition box, so I just put an HEI distributor in there for now. And got oil line, pressure hooked up, got temperatures hooked up, got vacuum, which I've got a vacuum gauge on my deal, but it reads like 5 inches. It's like way off from every other vacuum gauge I have, so I'm gonna use my old trusty there. So I have vacuum, so I know what my vacuum is. My fans work. I've already went through and done I don't have a battery hooked up yet, but went through and checked everything. Just barely bumped the starter, so I know it does engage. Got big fan hooked up for extra cooling if we need it. I got extra 5 gallons of gas. Still got to finish topping off my tank. I need to put just a little bit more, because usually a good 20-minute run-in session for breaking into cam, I'll go through that whole tank of fuel. So I want to make sure it's topped off. Battery's charged up. Fuel line, everything has been primed. So I've got fuel to the carburetor. Should have, yep, we got fuel in the carburetor. Got a little heating oil. So I'm gonna take a minute just to go through and double check everything, triple check everything. I get really nervous when it, not because I'm worried that something's gonna go wrong. Well, I guess I am worried that something's gonna go wrong, but just make sure I have all my ducks lined up in a row, because this first startup is the critical part for breaking a cam in. Now, the rest of the engine was running a few days ago. No big deal, not worried about it. But these heads are different heads, and new cam and new lifters. That's the main thing. You want to make sure you get broke in right. I actually hate that I get so nervous about firing an engine up just to break into cam, but it's just the way I am. I've been walking around this thing for the last probably hour. Well, my neighbor, he'd come up and visit for a little bit, but yeah, just wish me luck. And here we go. I'm gonna check the heat on it. We've got the oil is about 100 degrees. It should be good. Got some good break-in oil. Everything's ready to go. So I'm just gonna pull the trigger and see what happens. Here we go. Got power. Got ignition. Screwdriver in my pocket just in case. Get that off of there. Get the fire extinguisher handy too, just in case. You never know. All right, here we go, folks. maybe you can hear me. Step outside the shop. Well, so far it's a success. Lifters aren't rattling. Everything sounds smooth. It's just not very radical. I mean, it's not big choppy cam or nothing, but that's all right. We'll make torque. And torque will, you know, we'll make torque. That's all I got. So, yeah, I'm gonna finish letting this thing cool off a little bit, which it's already cooled down about 160 on the gauge. Everything went great. So, yeah, I'll get this thing wrapped up and shut it off, check everything out. So far, no oil leaks. Yeah, pretty excited. My anxiety level has gone way down. All right, so I've let this thing cool off for a little bit, and a startup video on the run stand is not a startup video on the run stand unless you uncork the headers. So I'm gonna start it up real quick. Hopefully it'll just fire right off with the headers open. You make a little noise. I mean, this thing sounds pretty tame. It doesn't have, it's not a very big cam. I mean, it's basically just a big RV cam. So it's not real choppy, but we'll have torque for days. But I just got off the phone with Ryan from Streetcar Chronicles. Go check out their YouTube channel. Ryan is the guy that first contacted me about No Name Nationals, so I want to give a shout out to them. Ryan, there's Dave, there's several guys on their channel. They're going to be at No Name Nationals, but go check out their channel. They've got a lot of cool stuff going on. My personal favorite on their channel is old Mike Honcho, his Malibu. He's been struggling with it a little bit. Right now his cars don't have a transmission in it. They're way down a converter. And it's just, he's had some issues, so it's fun to talk with these guys. He's down in close to Dallas, Texas, and I'm in southern Missouri, and you know, we're just having a lot of fun with this stuff, being in contact. But Ryan is the guy that got me started on this, so I want to give a big thanks to Ryan at Streetcar Chronicles. So let's fire this thing up on open headers. Hopefully I'll turn the power on and hit the start button and it'll bust right off. That's what it's done so far. I've kind of done a few cycles just to see how it's going to react. So far it's been spot on, but this is the first fire up with open headers. Let's check this out. Okay, flip the main. Of course, I got one hand on the camera, not hitting the throttle, not even giving it any gas. Turn the ignition on. Let's see what happens. Oh, I may have to give just a little bit of gas. Alright, I don't know what that sounded like on the camera. It probably really distorted, but it's pretty mellow. Not really any chop at all. That's fine. It's going to be fun whenever I hit that nitrous and give it an extra 250 horse. Because we're going to send it. I'm going to put all the gravy I've got to it. Leaving the 250 shot of nitrous in there. That's what I run last on the 305. We'll just see if this old big block can handle it. So I'm going to end it off here. I got to get this thing in that truck. So I'm gonna end it off here. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I know this video is a little bit long. Hopefully it was worth it. Till next time, y'all keep your square bodies rolling. We'll catch you later.